We've all heard the labels: lazy, unmotivated, doesn't want to work, a generation that simply does not care. But has anybody ever stopped to ask why? Has anybody stopped to ask what changed and what we're carrying? Because the truth is, Gen Z isn't falling apart because we're fragile. We're falling apart because we're overloaded, overstimulated, and we're pretending like it's normal. People love to judge Gen Z because it's easy. It's easy to point at the phone and say that's the problem. It's easy to call us soft, easy to say we don't want to work. It's easy to assume that we're entitled. But these stereotypes all ignore a very simple truth. We didn't grow up in the same world that our parents or our grandparents did. They grew up with mostly peace and quiet. We grew up with a lot of noise right off the gate. From the moment that we woke up, the world was already shouting. Before school, before work, before life even began, our minds were already under attack. A recent study found that 49% of Gen Z feels anxious or stressed immediately after using social media. Almost half of an entire generation experiencing anxiety from the thing we're expected to engage with every single day. Another study from Pew Research reported that 48% of teens believe social media has a mostly negative effect on their generation. A number that's climbing year after year. That's not weakness, that's overstimulation. Our brains weren't built to experience thousands of opinions, faces, achievements, mistakes, tragedies, and judgments every single day. We weren't meant to live in a world where everyone is watching and comparing. It's not that we can't focus, it's just every second of every day, something is trying to steal our attention. When older generations talk about the anxious generation, they talk like the anxiety just kind of came out of nowhere. Like we all just woke up one day and collectively decided to say, hey, we're anxious. But anxiety has roots, and ours were planted on digital concrete. Our phones rewired the way that our brains work. Dopamine used to come from real experiences, stuff like creating something new or hanging out with friends and family. Now it comes in the form of tiny hits delivered through pixels. Every scroll is a dopamine hit. Every notification is a spark. Every moment of silence feels uncomfortable because silence used to be normal and now it feels like something's missing. If a moment isn't stimulating, our brains panic. Not because we're in danger, but because we're unfamiliar with stillness. You're expected to look successful, sound successful, post like you're successful, even when you barely have it together. Another study from Pew Research, they found that teens report social media harming their sleep, body confidence, self-esteem, and sense of identity, especially among young girls. Because when everything becomes content, nothing feels real. You're not living your life, you're documenting it. And eventually you forget how to live life without feeling like you're being watched. But the pressure didn't stop online. We stepped into adulthood during one of the most uncertain economic periods in modern history. Living costs rising, debt rising, wages stagnating, job requirements increasing. Degrees cost more, but mean less. Every entry-level job requires 3 to 5 years experience. And workplaces built for an older generation now expect us to thrive inside systems that don't support us. Forbes reported in 2025 that Gen Z experienced the highest levels of stress, burnout, depression, and isolation of any generation in the workforce. Not because we're incapable, but because we're navigating a reality no one prepared us for. We're not failing. We're carrying expectations designed in a world that doesn't exist anymore. And we wonder why we're overwhelmed. Even for me, for years, I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I lacked discipline. I thought I wasn't working hard enough. I thought I didn't want the things that I thought I wanted. And every time I struggled, I said to myself, just power through it. It's all my fault. Power through it. But none of that was really true. It's not that I was lazy. I was overstimulated. It's not that I was weak. I was just overwhelmed. And it's not that I was unmotivated. I was just drowning in all this noise. It wasn't that I didn't care. It was that I never had the space to. And maybe you felt that way too. Maybe you woke up already tired, not from the day ahead, but from the information you absorbed before your feet even touched the floor. Maybe your mind feels crowded even when the room is quiet. Maybe you feel behind even though you're doing everything you can. Maybe you feel anxious and assume it's just your personality, not realizing the world you're living in is unnatural. The truth is, the world created this anxious generation. But I'm not pinning everything on the world. It's up to us to take a stand and heal. We can't turn off the internet. We can't fix the economy. We can't stop the culture from flooding us with a bunch of noise. But what we can do is choose how much of our mind we let it take. And that starts small, smaller than you might think. You don't have to do a full dopamine detox. You don't have to do like this massive lifestyle reset. It starts with one quiet moment you choose on purpose. Even just 1 minute where you don't touch your phone. One walk without headphones, listening to music or podcast. One conversation that isn't rushed. And one night where you let your mind rest. Maybe you meditate, you read the book. I always stress prayer. Something that doesn't involve scrolling. Less noise, more presence. Less comparison, more gratitude. Less performing, more living. You're not supposed to feel anxious every day. Your mind wasn't built in a fight or flight every time you open your phone. Your life isn't a race you're losing. It's a story you're building. You're not weak. You're overstimulated. You're not broken. You're overwhelmed. But you're still capable. You're still resilient. And you're still in control of your mind, even if it doesn't always feel like it. Your peace isn't gone. It's just buried under too much noise. And recovering it doesn't start with the world changing. It starts with you choosing that first moment of stillness.